I am no redstone expert. I do like it and I know the basics of it, but I'm definitely not great at it. But I ran into a problem on the server that I wanted to fix, and I did it all myself, and I'm gonna take you through my process of how I figured that out. So I will see you over there. Bye-bye. It's time to take a quick stop over by Team Mostly Capable's area here and check our shop for profits. Let's see what we've got. We've made a few diamonds here, so we'll have to restock that. Ooh, this one is almost completely out. That is a good chunk of diamonds and some more down here. We've got, I think, 6 more chests. That one's empty, empty, empty. Okay. And 1 diamond from honey blocks, a few more diamonds from honey blocks, and last chest, no doubt. Okay. So now we just got to go ahead and restock all of those. Oh, I missed a diamond. All right, there we go. Our honeycomb is fully restocked, but the honey blocks are actually a little trickier because if we go down and look at the honey farms down here, I'll show you exactly what my problem is. Wow, I'm getting a little bit of glitchiness there. So down here, these are our honey farms, and I have to craft up my honey blocks. So I think it's time we actually go ahead and build an auto crafter for our honey blocks to also recycle all of the bottles up here and put them in here so that our machine never actually breaks. Because if we take a look in the back here, I'm sure our machine is broken. All of this redstone is completely powered, which means not only just that we don't have any bottles, but also that we don't have any shears here. So we need to restock all of these with shears to continue getting honeycomb, and we need to restock all of these with bottles or keep them constantly stocked. You see, it'll end up just stocking a few honey bottles in here, and then it doesn't work properly anymore. So we need to make sure that it's always just empty glass bottles in here. So we'll set up that auto crafter and have something bring them back around to the top here. First things first though, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the easy part of actually making and stocking more shears. So let's make a bunch of shears. Bada bing, bada boom, more shears. You're looking pretty today. Did you do something new with your hair? Flibberty gibbet. We'll go ahead and store our extra iron and shears here for next time. And in order to actually get this working again, we have to pop all these little pieces of redstone and get them to activate again. And that way it will start working. Once again, all of our redstone is dark. Now for the trickier part. In order to design this auto crafter, I've hopped into my creative design world, which is an absolute mess. I've just got random little contraptions all over the place, and then other like builds that I've designed. Big subscribe button over there. Make sure to, subscribe, click that button. But anyway, let's go ahead and pull out the auto crafter. I have not messed around a lot with this. It's called a crafter, not the auto crafter. I haven't messed around with this since it was announced and released in its first ever what do they call those? Screenshots is the word that's coming to my head, but it's snapshot. Snapshot's the word I'm looking for. So I'm gonna have to mess around with this in a couple of funky ways. I don't know the best way to do it, so let's just see if we can figure that out, and then we'll hop into a creative world of the IgnitorSMP to design how we actually want it to go into that build. If you understand how redstone works, you are about to hear some very stupid things said and see some very stupid things as well. And if you do not understand redstone, this is not a redstone tutorial. Please don't follow my example. I tried my best not to look anything up during designing this, so all my redstone pros out there, feel free to comment in the comments everything that I did wrong and how I should have done it instead. So say we have a chest floating up here and it is filled entirely with honey bottles. That's basically the setup that we've got. How are we going to get the honey bottles out of there and into a crafter? Well, I think if we set the crafter up right below it, we can put a hopper into it. But first, let's go ahead and lock all of the things that don't make a honey bottle. And we can put a hopper right into that. And that should start filling it up. Okay, so now we've got a whole bunch of honey blocks. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there is no crafting recipe. If I pull up a crafting table here, there is no crafting recipe. Oh, there's sugar. Okay, so you can make sugar from a single bottle of honey, which makes this a little trickier because if there was no other crafting recipe here, we could just constantly spam a signal to the crafter and it would craft this as soon as it could. But since a single bottle can actually craft sugar, that causes us a little bit of a problem, and we've got to figure out a way to not be crafting sugar on accident. Now, I'm not sure if I really know how this works, but I believe that this, when it is completely filled up, all of those icons are selected, it's going to output a signal of 9. So if I input a single signal of 8 into the side here, I don't think we will get a signal out until this is 9 instead of 8. I think that's how that works. We're about to find out. So I will go ahead and click. Oh, we've got to get a comparator here, like that. Okay. Now, if I just make this one 1, 2, well, let's find out. Let's get some redstone coming out of here. Make sure that we are actually getting a signal strength of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is dead. Okay, so we are getting 9. And then if I bring this up to, this isn't going to change anything. But what if I swap that around? Then is that how that works now? Oh, okay, so that subtracts. So that's not what we want to do. I'm trying to do all of this without actually looking up how to use crafters and the easy ways that people have made to do it. So I'm just experimenting with you guys for fun on camera. This is the kind of thing that brings me joy in Minecraft, is learning how to do stuff on my own. And I had an understanding of how to do this before, but I just don't anymore. I know a simple way to do this is just to bring a big circle around so that when power equals 9, we could have it go ahead and activate, right? So we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we could put like a repeater there, and that would make it activate and start crafting, right? But this is not very compact, not very efficient in the use of space, and then you see it doesn't reach 9 again because it's completely full, which causes us another issue. Okay, so here I've got a similar setup. Right now, if this crafter has 9, then it is going to give an output, because this crafter is also set to 9. However, if this one, our one that's filling up with honey bottles, only has 8, there just is not an output at all. And I think we can use this to our advantage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is filled with honey bottles, which means that it's giving off power. And if we go ahead and get a piston and some observers, we can actually put a piston down right there. We put a block here so that when this is actually full and sending out power, we get our piston right here, okay? And then what we do is we come over here and we put an observer here, and we put an observer here, and this is gonna just, okay, so that did end up crafting us sugar, which is not something we want to do. But theoretically, if we had our hopper with our chest that is filled with honey, let's see what this does here. Okay. So we are spitting out bottles and honey blocks, but we did just spit out some sugar right there. So it does look like we are occasionally getting sugar in this way. So this is not going to work for us. I think the problem is that it's just not recognizing that it doesn't have, I think the problem is that it's not pulling the piston back fast enough. So we are still getting a signal while we have one bottle of honey in there. So we're going to have to go a different route. Okay, so this is interesting. I've got a signal of 8 running here. And that actually locks the crafter, so it's not actually getting any of these honey bottles put into it, which I didn't realize was a feature that the crafter had. So if I break this, it should start putting honey bottles back in there. Interesting. So here we've got our same setup of 9, and I just want to see what happens if we empty that. Is this going to work every single time? So that looks like it's working every single time, because it doesn't actually get the signal to power until all of these slots are full. So this might be the easiest way for me to do it, just because I know how to make this work. And if we put a hopper right in front of it, it looks like it does just directly start collecting those. So then what we need to do is make an item sorter so that our bottles go back into our bottle recycler and our honey blocks go into a shulker system or something of the sort. I know there is a more compact way to do this. I just can't figure it out in my brain about how to make it work. I've got this set up, and I really don't know if this is actually much more compact, and it is more expensive because I've got to have a crafter and an extra comparator there, but it works the same way. Now, the problem with the way that I've got this set up is that if we do happen to get say a whole bunch of honey bottles in here, then our system is going to freeze. Now, if this is running from the very beginning, it shouldn't really freeze, but it does have the potential to get stuck and start freezing. Now, as soon as I go ahead and empty that, it starts working immediately again. So if it does ever get stuck, we can always just come over and pull one of these stacks out, and it should start working again, just like so. Okay, so right here I have a little sorting system. This would be the one that starts with our honey blocks and our glass bottles. And then this one is set up to take our glass bottles, and this one can be set up to take our honey blocks. So if we just put a couple of filler items in there, ooh, that's not good. Oh, we're missing a missing a redstone torch right there. Okay, let's try that again. We put a couple of filler items in this one. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we put these honey blocks in here. This should drain down to 41 honey blocks. There we go. We're down to 41, and we should have a chest that has honey blocks and a chest that has glass bottles. And if we go ahead and just dump a bunch of this stuff in there, we can see if this actually works. So we'll just dump honey blocks and glass bottles just like so. And then we should see these start to fill up. So we're getting some honey blocks. Are we going to get some glass bottles here at some point? Most likely. It's probably just going to take time to actually drain those. So we'll just take that out, and we'll see if our glass bottles start filling up just like so. Fantastic. So then we'll just run our minecart actually to come have it refill from this chest rather than the chest that it's currently refilling from. And our honey blocks, we could have them just go into a bunch of different chests for storage, but I'd love to see if I could make some sort of shulker filler, because I've never made one of those before. I want to mess around with it, and if it's too hard, then we're just going to fill up the chests like before, but now it will take up much less space because it's using honey blocks instead of glass bottles, honey bottles. And here's just a quick look at that sorting system in case you guys want to see it. This is Impulse SV's sorting system, or vidMC is the one that taught me how to use it, so I don't know how it actually differs from Impulse's sorting system. But that's a repeater, that's a comparator, and that is a redstone torch. Then you've got the hoppers facing just like so. That redstone torch does not need to be there. So now onto the shulker loader, which is something completely new to me. I've never made one of these. I have not really any understanding of how they work, but what I'm assuming is you take a shulker box, you have it placed by a dispenser, because dispensers can place shulker boxes, I believe. If we go like that, we've got a dispenser here, we fill it up with shulker boxes, and then if we give it power, we should see it place a shulker box. Okay, fantastic. And then the next step is we need to break the shulker box. In order to break the shulker box, we use a piston. So if we give that piston power, it breaks the shulker box. And we want that to get collected by a hopper. We'll put a button here and a button here. We place a shulker box. We break a shulker box. So in order to actually activate this piston, we want to be able to detect how full the shulker box is. But I don't want to just put a comparator right next to it here, because that will leave some opening for our shulker to fall out. So if we put a solid block here and then a comparator coming out right here, I believe... Are we able to detect that? We can detect that. Now, I don't think it works if we do it from this side. I don't think we'll detect a signal. Yeah, we won't. It has to be right behind it here. Oh, and we've got a problem where our hopper here is actually collecting stuff out of the shulker, so we're gonna have to lock the hopper until we're ready to have it pick up the shulker box. Okay, this is a little tricky. So we've got our shulker box all locked in there so that hopefully it doesn't go anywhere. Probably, you know, put a couple extra blocks down here just to make sure that it has nowhere to go. I find sometimes things will like slip through those corners. I wonder if we can put our hopper over here actually. What if we put our hopper over here? Does that work? If we go over here and we go hopper and then we push it over, will it get collected by this hopper? I believe that should work. So we push it over, it pushes that whole thing over, place another one. I just don't know if this works 100% of the time, but it does look to be working. So that way we don't actually have to lock the hopper if we do it like this, because it just pushes our shulker box right over into that. So now we are left to figure out when our shulker box is full. A full shulker box is going to give off a signal strength of 15. So we want to give off a signal. A full shulker box is going to give off a redstone signal strength of 15. So instead of just going out 15 and bringing it back to our piston, we want to do something like what we've done here, where we just give it a signal immediately and then route that to our piston. So we've got a couple of ways to do that. We could have a redstone torch, which I think is the easiest option. So if we just go ahead like so, we get a redstone torch, and I think just a redstone torch just right next to the repeater should work. Because then if we put redstone dust here, put down some redstone dust, we're not getting any sort of signal because there's nothing in here. But if we, okay. So we are getting a signal then. So maybe this has to run in directly with redstone dust. There we go. So that locks it. So is that a signal strength? I believe that's a signal strength of 15. So now we would only end up with this giving off a signal strength if this is entirely full. So we're not entirely full yet. Still not entirely full, but now we're entirely full and it sends out a signal strength. So yeah, that works just like that. So then we just have to route this signal strength over into our piston. So if we just take it just like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, that will break our shulker, which puts it into here. It's filled with honey bottles. And then we also need it to then place another shulker box. Is this going to break my repeater? If I put a repeater there, it will. Okay. So I'm going to break that. I'm going to bring my redstone down like that. It should still work. And then we can take that signal out with a repeater, which will give it a little bit of a delay. Power this like that. Let's see if that works. We've got a dispenser filled with empty shulker boxes. We've got a shulker box right here. It's empty. We're going to fill it up really fast with honey bottles. When it gets full, it should break. And then... Okay, so we didn't place one of these, which might mean just that we need more delay. So let's try that again. Do we need more delay than that? Huh. Okay, maybe we're not powering this properly. Oh, you know what? I'm stupid. This isn't gonna send a signal through because it's a piston. So it's a transparent block. So that was a dumb way to do that. Okay. Well, instead of doing that, we can just pull it out of a solid block here. So we go into that and then like this. Bada bing, bada boom. And there we go. Now it's trying to place it. All right, now let's try this again. If we fill this up all the way, is it going to work? Yeah, there we go. And that's on a 0. That's only 1 tick of delay for our shulker box to fill up, but then we would just have... ooh, but that might lock our shulker box. No, it'll only lock it when it sends that 1 signal, so it shouldn't be much of a problem. So yeah, there we go. There is a shulker box loader. That's my first one I've ever designed. I don't know how efficient it is. I don't know how many of these blocks we need that I've just got randomly around here. This one's important, but I wonder if we could make this more compact. What happens if we put a redstone block here instead? The redstone block works. Why does the torch not work? It's interesting that the torch doesn't work, but the redstone block does. So a redstone block will cut off on some of that excess right there. We don't need that. We do need that because that's holding up our comparator. Okay, my teeny brain can't figure out how to make this any smaller right now. So I think I'm just going to make 2 of these and install them, one under my honeycomb and one under my honey bottles. Okay, so here we are in our creative little load up of this. I'm going to just get rid of all of this stuff right here. so that we can tear this out and put our machine down here. First things first is our auto crafter here. We've got that all set up, so if we just shove a bunch of honey bottles in here, like so, it should start filling up and spitting stuff out, and then it's got a couple extra left in there, so if we were to fill that up again, there you go, just like so. So now we've got to do our item filter coming out of this. Okay, then we've got our auto crafter hooked up to our sorting system here, so all of our items are getting dumped into that hopper, and then they are coming and filtering down through these and into these two different chests. I'm actually going to go ahead and connect up our minecart rail right now. Uh-oh. We don't want that. So here we've got this minecart rail. This is normally where I load up our glass bottles, and I just want to carry this all the way down there. So we'll stop it here for now, and then bring it all the way down there. We honestly don't actually even need this second item filter, since we're sorting out all the honey blocks to begin with. We can just remove the second item filter and just take all of our blocks right out of here. So if I put a hopper minecart right here and fill this up, it will start filling up that hopper minecart. So that's all we need to do, just like that. Then we give it a solid block to run into, make that a powered rail. Okay, I'm gonna fill this up with some glass bottles. We do pick up a couple, not a ton, but we do pick up a couple every time we come down here, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And it's bringing them all the way up and putting them over here. So now that we've got that sorted out, we can actually install our our shulker system. So now if we go ahead and put our shulker right here, we can have it start loading up with honey blocks. It might be too close to this redstone torch. We'll have to see how we can make this work. If we have it push over this direction, have our hopper right here to collect it, then we could have our braking piston right there, and our placing dispenser right here. But then I think we end up, because we've got to pull a comparator signal out of it as well. We could do it where we push it this way. I just don't know. If I put that here, is that locked? No, it still picks up. So maybe we try pushing it this way, which means our piston goes right there. My dispenser goes right there, and then I can flick that and it should get picked up by that hopper. So I'll build this in a little bit, you know, with a block there and a block there and a block here, and then it should hopefully end up into that hopper every single time. But now we've got to set up all of the actual powering mechanisms. Comparator right here, redstone dust all the way along here, and a repeater right there. And I believe that is it. We will have to put a hopper right here. Oh man, I've made this very tight on myself. And if we do it like that, then we should be able to put a double chest on top of there and fill that up with shulker boxes. It'll fill all of those hoppers up with shulker boxes and eventually fill this up. That should keep us stocked. Then we just need one right there. This is loading up from our honey farm. So eventually, once this fills up with honey blocks, oh, I can't manually fill it. Place it like that. And then once this fills up completely with honey blocks, like so, it breaks and it goes into this. There we go. We've got that one filled with honey blocks. So now we have to have a way to get this out of here and over into our storage system right here. So that will just drop into some water that goes over here. Right here will be a little bit of a water elevator all the way up, like so. And there we go. We've got our water column that should bring it all the way up here and make it flow. Let's go ahead and check if that works. So now all we need to do is actually activate this. So if we put one of these there, and then this one here, it'll just constantly activate it. So when one of these goes in, it drops, it goes. That's not gonna work because it's just shooting all over that. But if we put a block there so that that doesn't happen, and then fill it up again. I'm collecting them, fantastic. Step away, here we go. There we go, now they're going into that water stream there. They should go up the water stream and end up in this chest over here. There we go, like magic. However, I don't like this constant clicking, so we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to tell this, if it receives power, it should send a signal over here. However, like that's not going to work. We've actually got to do it like that, and then we need a repeater right there. Like so. That way, as soon... Ooh, that might not work. We'll do that. That should make it work. That way, as soon as something goes in here, receives a signal, that's okay. Yep, yep. Let's put some blocks there. And then, as soon as that receives a signal, it goes like that. For some reason, we're still getting power. Oh, it's getting power from that torch. Okay, so we're gonna need another repeater here. We can circle our redstone dust around farther so that it leads directly into that. Now when it gets an item in it, it'll shoot it out, but if it gets 2 in there, then it's gonna get stuck. But this should work as long as it never gets more than 1 shulker box, and it's only ever gonna get 1 shulker box at a time. So if we, yeah, that should be good now. As soon as it gets 1 item in there, it shoots it out, and there we go. Now for the other side, we want our chests to be right here, just like this, so it's nice and symmetrical. Now the tricky part is actually building it in survival. So first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and load up our schematic, and I'm gonna look at the material list. So we need about 68 stone bricks, 15 redstone dust. These rails, we do need a couple of extra rails, but not that many. Redstone comparators, so not a whole lot of stuff. So what I've got to get is the crafter. That's one that I don't have, and some dispensers and droppers. We'll have to make sure that we have those, but I think we have the majority of stuff we need for this. And most of that is just right here in our redstone boxes, which I will pull out once we actually need them. So there we go. Yeah, see, we've got all of our redstone and stuff in here, and then, yeah. That means we've got to go ahead and make a stick so that we can put our schematic into place. Now, I know that our schematic goes back behind this wall and is going to line up with some of this honey block. Ooh! Wow, that was not a great time. Why is there just a hole dug right here and then right here? What's going on? This goes all the way up to the surface. What is this? Who did this? Why? Why is there just a random hole right there? Anyway, we've got these rails at the very top of our schematic. So if I line it up with this, then we should be good. Here we go. There's the rail that we need. So we'll push that over just like that, and we're all lined up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and lock this schematic, and I'm gonna dig out this entire area. With that and that, lots of water. I'm gonna have to remove these chests. We are now filling up this chest with stuff. That was supposed to be a piston. Block that off. And we need to fill this up with a whole bunch of shulkers. Luckily, we recently came into 53 diamonds. Which one do you think is the shulker shop? Is it the one that looks like a shulker? 1 diamond equals 2 boxes, but there's only 1 box in here. How about the shells? Okay, we've got lots of shells. 15 diamonds equals 1 stack of shells. We'll go ahead and buy 2 stacks. We're gonna need a whole bunch of chests in order to actually make these shulker boxes. Luckily, I know where a lot of bamboo is, thanks to our early game bamboo farm I've been emptying out over here. There we go, 48 chests should be plenty, and then we can just make a whole bunch of shulker boxes, but I'll do that downstairs. We're also gonna need 41 honey blocks for our item filter, and some random filter things named something like filter. Shulker boxes, and just load those up. More shulker boxes, load them up. More shulker boxes, load them up. More shulker boxes, load them up. That should be plenty for quite a long time. Now for the item filter, we just go ahead and throw those in here, and we'll start counting down until we've got just 41 left. We'll have to fix our rail system. Get that guy going. We actually got to put a hopper right here. We'll have to remove the hopper on this end, and now we can let that go. Oh, but it's not powered anymore. There we go. We'll have to place one of these manually to start it up. Now I think after that, we should be all ready to go, so I'm gonna throw some of these in here. And they should start going into the crafter. Oh no, oh no. Forgot to mark my crafter. So I gotta mark all these up. That guy's set to 9 already. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, this should start filling up. Crafter is not working. We're missing one repeater that I had left to go find, and then I got distracted hanging out with other igniters. So I gotta go get that. If I said repeater, I meant comparator. Okay, now we try this. There we go, now it's working. We're filling up with bottles. Bottles aren't going anywhere. Or are they? The bottles are making it to the other end. We just are filling up so fast that it's not working. Are we getting anything into our shulker box here? I might have to break that shulker box. There's stuff raining through the hole. I'm actually going to break this shulker box. There are honey blocks in there. That is good news. So I'll just place that back so that I can open it to check things. That's filling up. I love it. Now I'm just going to fill this up with all of my honey bottles just to see if the braking mechanism works properly. One more honey bottle. It breaks and places another one. Does it actually end up in this chest over here? This chest is filled with honey bottles. But our shulker is right there and would go into that chest if this chest was not completely full of honey bottles. There we go, now we know it's working. Now I just gotta convert all of the honey bottles I already have. So we'll just build out some filters, like so. Then we place some double chests, fill up the double chests. Break all of these chests as well. And all of these hoppers too. Well, there we go, it's just continuously filling up here. We can see just how much we've got just in the time it took me to move all of the honey bottles over. The other thing we need to check on here is this. So we are clogging our system with glass bottles here, which is not good. It's about to be completely full of just glass bottles. So I am going to need to do, like, I don't know that I'll need to actually do something over here once the system's actually working. It's just with all of these glass bottles that I have been putting in here. Because in reality, we're never going to have that many glass bottles all at once, right? Because the farm isn't fast enough to do that. Let's go ahead and remove all of our random honey bottles from in here. So if we split these up so that all of our slots are full, that way it won't be able to pick up any random honey bottles. Then we can break all of our redstone and place it back so that these start working again. I lost a piece. There it is. I've been sitting here AFK and we have reached the point where we are just spitting bottles onto the ground because our hoppers are all filled up. So I'll just empty these hoppers manually. I just want to get to the point where I could just check myself if, if it's actually going to need something for the actual system, or if it's just because we are doing mass right now because we just had a load already. Just doing it again here. I accidentally broke one of my beehives, which means I just killed a bunch of my bees and let a bunch of bees escape. So no. Oh no. Oh no. All the bees are leaving. Oh no. That's not good. Guys, go back in there, please. Just go back in. I'm gonna have to wait for nighttime so that they all go home. Gosh darn it. In good news, we just finished going through all of our honey bottles, so yay. Guys, just go home. No, don't go outside! No, not the hole! Not through there! That's, no, gosh, no! No, 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 no! No! No, you're not allowed. You cannot. Curse whoever left that hole there. Oh, my bees. The bees are leaving me. Guys, if all the bees leave, this was all for nothing. Hi, guys. Let me close this door so they can't get out here. Flowers. I need flowers. That's how you do it. I forgot. Flower. There's literally no bees in there anymore. Okay. I have brought a bunch of bees together to make a happy bee family. But we've got to wait till it's night outside now so that they will all return home into their beehive. Okay, it's nighttime, so now, theoretically, if I let go of my flower, they should all try to return back into their beehives. Go home, friends. Return to your homes. You can do it. I believe in you. Come on, get in the homes. Go and get in them. Go back home. Oh, they're fighting over whose home is whose home. They're like, this is my home, Gregory, get your butt out. And then the other guys can't get in. I'm going to have to break some of the dirt. But I'm going to have to make sure that I don't hit any of the bees while I do so. Why are they so dumb? I have to break more of this dirt to let them go up into their house. Okay. Okay, I think we let everybody go home. And we got to grab some more flowers so that we can breed up. 3 of them will have died because you can have 3 in a hive, so we need 6 flowers so that we can breed these guys back up. There we go. There we go. Well, it is all done. All of that honey that we had turned into this many honey blocks. It looks a little ugly down here, but I can fix that later. However, in the meantime, I would suggest clicking on that video on screen right now because it has me doing some way cooler things with Redstone where I build a honeycomb range to trap all of my friends on the IgnitorSMP and make them have to respawn. So I cannot wait to see you over there in that video. Bye-bye.